This ABA team style might be just what you need to finish off your opponents in Go Battle League and of course Great League Remix. So we're using an ABA team style with a dragon up in front, a dragon at the back, and in between we're gonna fit in there the amazing Skeletons. So we're looking pretty strong with this team, able to pressure a lot with those fast attacks, but at the same time we got a lot of nukes coming up on our opponent's way, especially with the Shadow Ball and the outrage from our backline. So down we go here to the Leaky Tank, but to be fair we don't care a lot because all we want to do at this point is to farm down the remaining energy that they can offer with our Skeletons. So now they have a Poliwrath, and because of its water typing our Incinerates will not deal much, but of course we have access to moves like Disarming Voice, which can be absolutely devastating for our opponent. Also our backline, not only with Skeletons but also with our Dragalge, can have the upper hand against that Poliwrath on the long term of the battle, so we are just glad that we can have this matchup. So now they're just gonna switch out to the Jarjabag, and of course this Pokemon is gonna struggle a lot against every single individual Pokemon of our line. Here comes now the Aqua Tail to deal lethal damage on this Pokemon, and down goes the Battery Saver. Poliwrath returns, but of course with that current HP limit they cannot offer much, so they're just gonna back off for this first battle. Into the next one, and we're having the Abomasnow up in front. This is a very bad lead that we need to stay in. I know that we have a Skeletons at the back, which can definitely be devastating with a simple Incinerate on that whole typing of theirs, so all I want to do at this point is to bring it into the fight as long as my Dragonair goes down. And to my knowledge, Dragonair can also have the upper hand with the first move, and most likely you can get an easy shield out of your opponent. So now I'm just gonna switch out to my Dragalge, and I will rely a lot on my Abomasnow for the end game. So Dragalge here is gonna be able to tank all that energy that they have to offer. So here comes now Skeletons, and we know that they still have that Abomasnow. With that in mind, it only depends on what they might be having as their third Pokemon, and look at that, they have a Jellicent. Expecting the switch here it comes. We can definitely farm down with that final Incinerate, and of course now we're already there on the final Shadow Ball range to finish off the Jello Pokemon, and down they go. Let's head now into the next battle and let's see what we have going on, because a Lapras is gonna be up against us, another ice type. So as always trainers, we're gonna offer a lot of insight for this team against very bad leads, so that you can see how you can manipulate even that ice typing up against your advantage and your will, because as you can see here we can still grab at least a shield out of those ice types with a Dragonair. So this is the absolute trick that you need to take note of. If you do not have a regular Dragonair and you're using your Shadow, you're gonna be on a much better situation, especially if you spend the shield on the front line, so keep that in mind. Some of those ice types are gonna lose to your Shadow Dragon Breath damage, so this is the key. Anyways, able to farm a little bit extra here and go for the double Aqua Tail up against that Nidoqueen. So all we have to do at this point is to rely on our Skeletons as our closer. Skeletons goes in, Skeletons farms down, and Skeletons makes them quit the battle, because most likely they have something severely weak to our fire type Pokemon. Into the next battle now, and we're having the Poliwrath up in front. This Pokemon can be kinda problematic for us because of the fact that it carries the move Scald for our fire type, and of course Ice Wind for our dragons, but of course as always we will try to take at least a shield out of them, and in doing so we can have now the upper hand with our Dragalge by completely farming down. So Icy Wind now, and of course on the switch we're meeting up with this Leaky Tank. So after the debuff, those outrages will not deal much, but still with a combination of a few of those Dragon Tails, we might actually have the upper hand on the long term of this battle. Another move, this time the Aqua Tail before we go down, and I'm just gonna get here to the nice, because I know that I have to farm all that extra energy with my Skeletons, and if we can do that, perhaps we can have the upper hand even against those water types. So Lickitung goes down. Let's see what they can offer now, because we're having at least a Shadow Ball ready to go here. They have the Dragonair, they're trying to switch out to their Poliwrath, and all we have to do at this point is to completely farm down. Once again expecting the switch, trying to clear the debuff here to the switch on my Dragonair. Now we have at least a double Disarming Voice, but we're super low on HP. One for the shield, one for the knockout, but we cannot barely make it to that knockout, which is kind of a big bummer, and we're gonna lose in a very close battle. Dragonair on the mirror now, and we're just gonna throw right when we get to the body slam, which is kind of a mistake because they managed to catch anyways, but of course I could not risk it, and yeah, this is all the story behind this one. So anyways, now switching out to my Skeledirge, and I know that the leaks can be super effective, but of course whatever they are gonna throw is absolutely resisted. So with that in mind, we can definitely start charging up on energy. Here comes now another body slam, and we have to sacrifice a lot of HP in order to completely farm down. I'm expecting the Dragonair to return, so I'm just gonna press here the Disarming Voice, but to my surprise they have that Swampert coming in. So you know what, I'm just gonna switch out now to my own Dragonair, try to make them throw the energy. I'm already low with my Skeledirge, so all I want to do is to try and push as much as possible with my Dragalge, and right after we might actually have the chance at finishing them off if they spend at least a shield over here. Here comes now the Aqua Tail, down goes that Swampy, but of course with the current HP that Dragonair is having, they cannot withstand the damage at all from my Dragon Tails, and they will just back out. Up against the Fairy type now, but this Fairy type is kinda weak to my Aqua Tails. Of course, this is always winnable for their end, because even the Aqua Tail will not deal a lot of damage, while my Dragon Breaths, I believe, deal about 1 or perhaps 2 damage. It is absolutely crazy. Anyways, now on the switch we're meeting up with a Cresselia, which is pretty great for our Skeledirge, because not only they are gonna throw here resisted moves, as it seems they do not even have Future Sight, but we also can almost one-shot them down with a simple Shadow Ball. Here comes the first one. They will block, which makes me think that perhaps they want to play this matchup towards the end of this individual battle, because they might want to have the upper hand over my Dragon type with that Carbing. However, they end up taking the move, and I'm gonna switch out once again to my Dragonair because I have enough energy to throw here, and of course another Aqua Tail before they outspeed me to that Rock Slide. All I want to do at this point is to push for that shield scenario. We can do absolutely that, and they realize that they cannot farm down right on time, so they have to throw some energy. Now my Dragalge goes in, able to get to yet another Rock Slide, which is kinda scary at this point, but all we have to do is to go ahead and just overcharging on energy. So the outrage here will be more than enough, most likely, to one-shot down this Victory Bell and the Aqua Tail right after for the weird combo and the knockout against Carbing. Let's get it, trainers. Dragalge for the win. Into the final one now, and we're having a Hitmontop up in front. This Pokemon is always big trouble for my team, only because it carries the move Triple Axle, and of course it might carry the Stone Edge for my Fire type, so we need to be careful, and we definitely need those shields. The reason I bring here my Dragalge and not my Skeledirge is because I felt like they are trying to bait out my Anti-Charmer, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep that Pokemon for the end game because they still have Hitmontop, and with shields up we can definitely have the upper hand over here. Able to deal so much damage with Incinerates, but they still managed to get to the double crunch, which I was not expecting at all. I was hoping for the knockout before they get there. Anyways, now with that Victory Bell coming into play, we can definitely reach to the Disarming Voice, almost finish them off. One more Incinerate, and right after we have the Disarming Voice for massive damage on their end. Of course they can survive, but they cannot reach to the move. We can outspeed there, and another Disarming Voice to grab the victory for this video, and to, of course, to end in a positive vibe. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for staying till the end. Just be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course check any of these 2 videos that I have prepared for you, and I will catch you up later into the next one.